So much.
Everything.
I mean, anything with a battery and a connection, a remote connection, in any type of way where it reaches the outside of that device is hackable or has been hacked.
What are these devices here?
This is a water bottle. So this right here is this is a Flipper Zero with some custom modifications. And it does a lot. So this is just a proof of concept device, but when you start to add your own little additions onto it like this, let me enable, for example, Wi-Fi. I'm not gonna hack your Wi-Fi, but I'll give you a little example of what I could do. I'll just do something stupid, but. Okay, and then we'll do, I'm not going to shut your network down. Okay, so now if I can show you on my phone, or you could look at your phone, but you'll see that instead of me mirroring your network, I just created a bunch of fake networks. So all of these networks here, they probably appear to be legitimate, right?
Yeah.
But they're not.
These are all fake networks?
They're all powered by me. So as soon as you connect to any of those, I have your password, I have anything in between. So that's one thing. That's just Wi-Fi.
And you just, oh man. Is this how people are stealing information?
This is one of many ways.
In airport.
In an airport? Oh yeah, I mean airport, Starbucks. When you, it's called a man-in-the-middle attack. So if I'm on the same network as you, I can essentially control the traffic, as if I was the modem or router. So instead of when you type google.com, instead of your computer telling the router you want google.com, you're telling my computer you want google.com, and I'm giving you what I'm telling you google.com is. So it would be called a DNS attack. So,
is this what people are using in the airports when there's?
Not this specific device. This is just something that I concocted together. But the flipper you can buy. This thing on the top here is custom.
I guess what I'm asking is this the method they throw? So what is like Wi-Fi flight or GoGo?
GoGo in flight?
Yes, GoGo.
Oh, they're actually. I mean, you can hack anything, but GoGo in flight they have a pretty good segment on their network, so you're pretty safe with GoGo. There's a chance of getting hacked, but not the same as like a Starbucks or here. Like your network has to be segmented into chunks.
Okay.
And GoGo segments it pretty well.
Okay, I guess what I'm saying is, could you create a fake Wi-Fi network with that thing that says GoGo in flight 1?
Yeah,
people are like,
that
that must be it.
I could do that here. I mean, I can make any. They're called SSIDs, the name of a network. You could do that with any name, but instead of that, what you do is you just scan the local area, and then I know all the networks names around here, and then I'll target all of them at the same time, so that way anyone in this complex or where we're at, anyone that connects to a network is going to think it's their network, and they're going to connect to me instead.
Holy shit!
That's just one of many Wi-Fi attacks. So there's many ways.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
What else can this thing do? This thing's like the size of the palm of your hand.
Yeah. Well, with this little custom extension, especially when I have these aren't the big antennas, but I got big antennas because I want to get long range. But that's Wi-Fi. This side of things is also Wi-Fi, but also it's an NRF 24, so it does wireless mice and keyboards. So if you use a wireless mouse and keyboard, not every single one of them is vulnerable, but a lot of them are. I'd highly recommend you go back to wired, even though it sounds old school. That's what you should do, because I could control your mouse and keyboard with this device and send keystrokes way faster than you can type them, and take over your computer without even having to see you or it. So I could do that through the wall.
This is scaring the shit out of me.
And then the sub-gigahertz stuff with bigger antennas, of course, I can go further away. So with the car keys, garages, gates, anything that's on radio frequency, I could do with this. RFID, that's access control badges for doors and pool keys, anything that has like a little beeper where you beep into the door.
Yeah.
And NFC is credit cards and access control. And it does also some more things too. You could also I could tap your phone and give you my Instagram, or tap your phone and give you my business card. So NFC is a little more versatile than RFID, but they both essentially are, I believe it's called passive devices. They're powered by the receiver. They don't have a battery in them.
So let's just run through just a list of all the things you can hack with that one little device.
I mean, I don't want to make it into an ad about Flipper because it's not Flipper itself. I'll tell you, but I'm just saying that Flipper itself, if you're going to go online and buy one of these and expect to be able to do everything that I'm talking about, you need to have custom firmware or software, whatever you want to call it, that allows you to do that, and you need to know how to modify it. So don't go out spending $180 on this device thinking you're going to hack somebody's car or steal their credit card, because that's not going to happen. But if you want to go down the list, I mean, there's a ton of things. There's all the radio things I just told you about, the RFID stuff, the NFC, which is the credit cards and more, infrared, which is TVs, projectors, and many other devices, GPIO, which is just anything that connects to the outside of this device, so I can make devices work and this be the controller for it. iButton, which is a form of authentication that uses these things, these little metal prongs as a key. Bad USB, which emulates a keyboard, types a couple thousand words a second.
Wow.
Or I'm sorry, a minute. I'm sorry, a couple thousand words a minute. And then it also has some use cases that aren't hacking, like two-factor authentication. This is a offline device where you can generate your two-factor without needing a device that's connected to the internet. So it does that too. And then there's a ton of other sub-applications that are on here, like hundreds of them that do little things. So a lot. Just with this one device. This thing, it does just radio, but it does a lot more than this thing.
Really?
Yeah.
What does that one do?
This one you can hack airplanes with. I mean, that's an extreme, but that's something that you can actually accomplish with this using ADSB. You can choose to either receive or transmit. So you could choose to either receive or transmit ADSB with this device, and that's the frequency to tell a plane, its call sign, position, and more. And it's very illegal to do that, of course. But if I wanted to go outside right now, I could even demonstrate later for you. I pull this antenna out. This is just a small antenna. And we can receive airplanes, see where they're at. There's nothing illegal about receiving them. Transmitting is where it gets a little bit funky, But yeah, ADSB, this one does a lot. Like something like a joke, for example, touch tunes at a bar. They're little jukebox machines that you pay for.
Yeah.
This device brute forces them, meaning goes through 000 to 9999 looking for a PIN code. And once it gets it, I can fully control that jukebox like I have, like I'm the owner of it. So, just for fun. Or Subaru cars, some years of Subaru, I have this pre-programmed that can unlock and lock a Subaru, no problem. I could do that with this as well. But this thing, way stronger, bigger range, way more support, way more programs out there. This device is a lot more dangerous in my eyes than that device.
Really?
Yep.
Man, you are I think this is the fifth time I've said it, I think. You are a dangerous man. But
well, I'm safe, I'm ethical.
You could be if you wanted to be.
I'm trying to go into detail about these things just for the nerds out there like me that are listening. I'm not going into exhaustive detail about these devices because most people are not going to care. So I'm just giving the general overview.
Oh, I think they're going to care when they realize how vulnerable they are.
No, I don't mean they don't care about what they can do, but like care about the technical specifics.
Yeah. We get a lot of pretty much everything that we have is from China.
Okay.
All of our electronics, everything, it all what do you say? 90% of it probably comes from China. Do you think we need to worry about what they're putting in our electronics?
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you one example. I bought this awesome vacuum and mop that's in one. It's an all-in-one vacuum mop called Tinico, and it completely connects to a Chinese server to transmit and receive information. Like I made a joke out of it. I actually have a video of it where you could turn the audio on for it. Like when you plug it in, it says charging started, charging stopped. Like when you put it on and off, I can control that with my computer through a Chinese cloud server. There's no reason that vacuum and mop should connect to a Chinese cloud infrastructure whatsoever, but it does. And at any point, they could change the way that functionality works and take over my home network with this vacuum mop. So,
Are you serious with a vacuum mop?
Yep. Yeah.
How many devices do you think have these things in them?
Anything with a Wi-Fi connection, it's not everything's going to be China beaconing back and forth, but anything with a Wi-Fi, anything with Wi-Fi capability is going to open up, an attack vector.
Washing machines, refrigerators, just
Yeah.
Why does a vacuum mop
I don't know.
Wi-Fi capability?
I'd love to tell you, but it's I have the video I could show you. I could find it sometime, but it's I have that, and then I have the app I could show you. I could adjust the volume. I could check when the last time I used it. Does it need to be cleaned? Does it, it tells you all that stuff, but it's using a Chinese server that I can control from my computer now that I've captured the traffic between the mop and the server.
How many devices do you think we have that are connected to a Chinese server? And what would they be getting out of it?
I mean, it's all about data nowadays. So, I mean, I think that data is the most important thing to them because it's worth money, and advertising dollars would be spent better for with targeted demographics. So I think that they're using that information to target you on the stuff that you need. If you or someone that you love is looking up something, obviously Google's going to figure out how to target you on that thing and then sell that data to other people, and they call it retargeting. Whereas if they have access to your direct network and they can see things that you didn't even fully search out, or you're typing on a different application like a chat application where you're not even searching about it, you're just talking about it, that data is very valuable because they know about something before Google does or some other large data broker.
Interesting. What are 5 simple things that people can do to protect themselves from hackers?
Use a password manager, install an antivirus, or consult with an IT company that has cybersecurity expertise, or a cybersecurity company. One of those many options, but talk to somebody unless you're an expert yourself. Use an RFID blocking wallet, and potentially, if you want to be extra safe, use a key fob that has an RFID shield on it. That way your key fob doesn't work outside of that shield, can't be cloned. Some cars require, tap to start. So, use something like that. Be careful with the websites that you're visiting. If the browser's telling you the site looks unsafe, then it's probably unsafe. And if if you're told otherwise, make sure who's telling you otherwise is legitimate. And, just be careful. I mean, just use your common sense. If something looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Okay, what about we live in a day and age where you're getting spam calls every 5 minutes, you're getting spam texts every 5 minutes, and a new marketing email's coming in every 2 minutes. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Do we need to worry about that stuff? If I open a text, could I be hacked just from opening the text?
Technically, yes. I mean, like I said earlier, the zero-click attacks that they're willing to pay a ton of money for, there's government agencies that already have them, There was one going around for quite a long time. There was one going around for quite a long time called Pegasus. And then there was another one called Pegasus 2.0. And it didn't require any user interaction from anyone. You would just send to a phone number. They'd have full remote access to your phone.
Even without opening the text?
Without opening anything.
Holy shit. How do you defend against something like that? Yeah.
You can't. There's no way to defend that's why they're so valuable, because there's nothing you can do.
How do most hackers get in? Do you have to click a link?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's a link, sometimes it's a file, sometimes it's a photo, sometimes it's a chain of exploits of multiple things that turn into it. It could be a Word document. It could be anything. When it comes to 0 days and 0-click exploits, it doesn't require any user interaction, and you will not know that your phone's infected.
Damn.
Yeah, so I can't even give you a good answer for it.
This is scary stuff, man.
You know, I might as well have it on my phone right now. I have no clue. I mean, I'd likely see the traffic going in and out of it, but there is still the chance that it could have it.
All right. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get into what you're doing now. The US dollar. How many of you out there still have any confidence whatsoever in the US? Inflation. Let's talk about it. They've raised the entry down. They're doing latest one. I believe their capital. Where they can have one or financial. Go to lead. Information contained results. Consult all the benefit is gone. My research as a cup of product. 100% health. Use the coding and all this stuff. And all the stuff that you're capable of, and all the things we need to be worried about. But let's talk about why you came here, and that's what you're doing now. You're basically hunting down these people that are exploiting children sexually on the internet and in person.
Yeah.
I know you have a couple of horrific stories. One guy that was, I think it was his daughter in the bathtub.
Yeah. So I'll start, kind of where that all came from. I was at a friend's.
Okay, so you heard that. If you watch this, hopefully you watched this. Hopefully you watched the whole video, because it didn't really say it until the end, is when he mentioned about being able to be hacked from just a simple link. Just receiving a text message, opening a text message that you receive. NIRVGORILLA sends me text messages all the time. All the time. He sends me links all the time too. I've clicked on a couple of them, but I rarely click on them. And Nerve, the fact that you try to act like there's no way that I shouldn't be afraid of clicking on a link. And you know better. You know this is possible. The fact that you do that, it just screams red flag. It screams that you are using the psychological warfare tactics to get people, to gaslight people into thinking that they're conspiracy theory crazies if they are afraid to click on a link. Okay. So unfortunately, they waited till like the end of that to mention about that, and they mentioned about Pegasus. I swear on my children here when I say this. I had one of my many devices. I bought several phones over the last few years, lots of them. And one of them, it was this actual phone model I'm using. And it was bought over Amazon, certified refurbished Amazon, okay? That's where I've been buying all my devices. So if they're intercepting my devices, they're doing it through the mail that way. And I have evidence to suggest that they did that. They absolutely did that with one of my devices that I bought previously. And now, unfortunately, that's the one device that they fucking got whenever they broke into my apartment unannounced and arrested me at gunpoint. I had that device tucked away in that apartment, and I was not able to recover that one device. But I do have the device still to this day, an iPhone 8 Plus, that I was looking at the analytical data from the end of April 2021. Okay. So this is not, it wasn't April 2020, or I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's right. April 2021. I was looking back at my screen recordings, and it just happened to catch my eye in the analytical data. As I'm looking back, fast forwarding through videos, I stopped and I literally saw the word Pegasus in my analytical data. That's all I know. I don't know if I have Pegasus on my phone, if I had it on my phone or not, but I absolutely saw the word Pegasus in my analytical data from April, I think it was 28th. It was the end of April, 28th, 29th, 30th. I think it was the 28th, April 28th, 2021. Yes, April 28th, 2021. That's what the iCloud this recording was from. Now, I took a quick or a quick short clip of that video and saved it, and I can't find it to this day. I'm sure they deleted it. But I thought I hit the jackpot there whenever I actually found the word Pegasus in my analytic data. I can't see any other reason why the word Pegasus would be in my analytic data unless Pegasus was used on my device. I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to know why it would say Pegasus in my analytic data. Okay. And it wasn't like at the top. It wasn't any of the, anything I would see real clearly. It was way down in the, in the body of one of these big analytic data files. So anyway, I digress here. The main thing is this guy, it just gave you a buttload of information that you probably didn't know. I didn't know a lot of it. I really didn't. I'm going to be honest. And you shouldn't have to become a fucking hacker to protect yourself against these fucking sickos. Okay? But it helps to be aware. It really, really helps to be aware of what they're capable of and what they're using, okay, to know everything about you. Your device knows more about you than you even can fathom, believe it or not. Whether you like it or not, your device, it can predict what you're going to do before you even know you're going to do it, okay? The AI is getting so advanced that it's just, humans are easy to predict. It's just that simple. Human behavior is so easily predictable. So whenever it has all of these data points on a certain individual, okay, and you give it a task, to ask it what do you think this person's going to do next based on this information, I'm sure it's probably right more times than not. It's never going to be 100%, but there's no guarantees in life. So just know that if you have anything that has wireless capability, even if you're not using the wireless, if it has wireless capability, it can be hacked. Plain and simple. Any remotes, even if your computer has Wi-Fi but you don't use it, you shut it off. I've had my phone where I've turned airplane mode off. Okay, yeah, I've turned airplane mode off, but it still said airplane mode at the top, and vice versa. I've had airplane mode on, and I know that you can connect to Wi-Fi while you're on airplane mode. If you didn't know that, get into your settings, and you can, if you go on to airplane mode and then turn your Wi-Fi on and connect to your network, you can connect to Wi-Fi in your local area network while on airplane mode. Same thing with the Bluetooth, but not the cellular. To my knowledge, you can't do the cellular with airplane mode. That's really the only thing airplane mode blocks out then. It's still, which makes no sense. But the airplane mode now, they made it so that the phones will still connect to your local area network, and it'll connect to your Bluetooth devices while you're on airplane mode. Okay, so they might as well just change the name of airplane mode, because it's not airplane mode anymore. That being said, I've had several times on my device where, like, just as a matter of fact, for instance, yesterday or the day before, I was going through my Apple Music library on my device, and I have music I downloaded to my device, okay? That way I can listen to it on airplane mode while I'm not connected to anything. And there was some songs in there I didn't like, right? I didn't want them on there. Like the Rickroll song was on there, okay? So I specifically remember deleting the Rickroll song from my downloaded list and removing it from my library. However, just this morning at 6 in the morning, I walked to the store here with the dog, and I turned it on airplane mode, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, and I went into my downloaded folder, my downloaded music folder, and I'm looking, and all those songs are back on there. They're on there again. Now, I had deleted them. Why are they, they showed up again. I don't know why that happened. Okay, because there's nothing that I have that has this, my iTunes, my Apple Music linked to. Okay, I don't have any other Apple devices that I'm using. I haven't turned my MacBook on in weeks. Okay, I have a HomePod Mini at home. Okay, but to my knowledge, I don't have any devices that I can get in there and see my list of music, downloaded music. Okay, I don't have music downloaded to any other device, Apple device. But I deleted it from, this is my main Apple device, my phone, It's what I use the most. I'm actually using a Windows computer right now instead of the MacBook. That's why I haven't turned it on in weeks. So I delete music from my library, from my phone, deleted it off of my phone. Okay. But it just showed back up. So I can't explain that. I don't know why it's doing that. I'll have to dig in and find out. But I can't help but notice there's a lot of things where I'll change the settings. And then I'll go back and look a little bit later in the settings. Boop, nope, they just changed right back. So my phone is linking up to something periodically, obviously. And it's reconfiguring the settings every so often. Back to it's probably backing up to whatever I have my settings, like daily or something like that. And then it's to make sure that they keep that malware. I can't get rid of the malware and shit. I can't get rid of whatever's on my device. I can't get rid of it. I restored the damn thing from scratch. And as soon as I turned the damn thing on, without connecting to an Apple ID or anything, the only thing was my SIM card. That's it. I didn't connect to a network. I didn't connect to anything. Okay? And I got right into there, and I went right into the settings, and I looked at the analytical data, and boom, immediately I have these same files on there. I cannot do this. I've tried this experiment over and over and over again. I cannot restore my device without these specific files showing up on my analytical data immediately after. So this is whatever they have saved, they have obviously malware in place on my device to ensure, okay, that it goes right back to, the malware gets put right back on there. It's like the first thing that gets put on there immediately. Okay, whether it's the SIM card that they have something within my local area network, okay, that pretty much as soon as I try to do this, they jump right in and they make sure that they get a hold of my device before I can do anything. Because I've had times where I've done different things that kicked them off or did whatever, gave me control back, and there was all kinds of different things on my device, and I'm like, wait, what is this? Why is this different? Because it was just for brief periods of time, they lost connection for one reason or another. Okay, they would lose connection, they would lose that control of my device, and when that happened, that's when I would notice the differences. Okay, because how am I supposed to know any different, really, if I use my device every day? It looks the same every day. How would I know what it looks like compared to a normal device if I don't have a normal device to compare it to? Like I said, it was very important to them that I did not get a new cell phone. Very important. They went to extremes to make sure that I didn't get a new cell phone. They made sure they had a gang stalker at all times, several of them, circling around me at the kiosk at the Sam's Club at two different occasions. On two different occasions for a couple hours each time they did this. I had a guy walk past me, give me dirty looks, and go, pfft, pfft, like whatever they told him. They must have told him something like I'm dangerous or something, and he looked at me like yeah, right. I had another guy walk in and purposely try to brush by me, right? And I stepped out of the way, and I'm just smiling, minding my own business, smiling, because that's what I do. I smile. I'm happy. And he stopped and turned around to look at me. He went out of his way to turn around and address me. and say, why don't you go mess with somebody else's Sam's Club? So for whatever reason he did that, I just laughed. And I looked back at my family. I was like, "Did you just seen that, right?" And this is right whenever my own mother saw this for herself. She saw this stuff for herself and realized that, I'm not crazy. And they started doing it to her. And it took a little while before my daughter got on board. I didn't try to drill this in her head or anything. I just, when they would point stuff out to me, I'd be like, yeah, that's my fan club. That's the super secret boy band, Fireman super secret boy band. Fucking weirdos. And I'd just say that every time that something would happen that I know it was them. And then eventually, I'm not trying to convince anybody about it. Eventually, people came to me. Eventually, all one by one, they all came around, and they all came to me and said, you know what? You're right. You know what? You're right. You're not crazy. You're right. They're doing it to me now. They're doing it to me. I've had several people, so many that face-to-face people who have told me this, who have confirmed this, all this, that don't even listen to the fucking people like NIRVGORILLA who says gang stalking isn't happening. Listen, this is what the deal is with him. NIRVGORILLA, anybody who's involved in this, they have something at stake, okay, in this. So they're going to go out of their way and they're going to try to convince any TI that'll listen, that gang stalking's not happening, so that you can give them something, give them some content that can make you look crazy. They need that content to make you look crazy, okay? Anything they can, and they take it out of context. That's what they do. They will not show the gang stalking evidence, actually evidence that is undeniable. I've tried to get NIRVGORILLA to show my brother gang stalking me. He won't show that online. He won't talk about it online. He will only, but he texts me like crazy. Look, there he is. I talked about you and your brother flashing his lights at you in today's stream. Isn't that funny? I'm just talking about this and boom, I get that message from NIRVGORILLA. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? So, yeah, like NIRVGORILLA doesn't have my phone hacked. Like doesn't see what I'm doing right now. And then he's laughing because I'm talking about it, and then he sends me that. He used to do this all the time. If I tell people that, then I sound like a crazy person. But, I mean, you just saw it right there. I'm talking about it, and then the notification popped up. So, with that being said, just learn, Go out there, get some information. Just learn. Don't assume anything, because they'll use that shit against you. Okay? When you assume the shit... But unfortunately, in this world, everybody demands to know every single detail, and they need to know your thought process and how you came to that. Well, what about this and this and this? Even though you've already thought about all of the other possibilities. You've already done the experiments. You